white women, racist white women that date black men. Yeah, y'all not safe. Because I know it goes both ways. And I think what disgusts me the most about it is because women have the ability to procreate. Y'all literally will hunt down black men only because you want mixed children.
So it's interesting that she says that, because from my understanding and my research, this is a lot more prevalent among black women. This is something that black women specifically do, facilitate colorism, because they think by creating lighter babies, by assimilating the white culture, that is going to help them get a better social standing. And again, I didn't just make this up. I've talked about this in previous videos, but if you look at some of the different recent data, this is what it actually alluded to in the dating divide, where it looked at, it did actually look at a couple of families in Latin America, and it looked at some of the Afro-Latinos, and then it was just looking at colorism within the context of the USA, and how there was this preference that black women, African women across the Caribbean had for whiteness. And one of the theories was because they believed that it would give them a better social standing, perhaps give them access to better wealth, and ultimately an easier life. And so it's funny that she's saying that white women are really interested in creating mixed babies, when this is literally what I see black women doing all the time. And I think this is partially maybe why they're so conscious of it, and why they're so hypersensitive to it, because you're generally sensitive to something that you've experienced, or that's something that you're into. And I'm like, the people that we hear the complaining about the most when it comes to colorism is black women. It's certainly not white women, right? And the research I just showed you earlier in this video, white people by and large are the most interested in maintaining whiteness. White men and white women. So while I'm sure there are white women out there who maybe want a few mixed babies for whatever reason, that is not a tenet of white culture. That would be like an offshoot. That would be an anomaly, but that's not common in white culture. But in black culture, we do know colorism is a thing. And we do know that practicing colorism historically has been used as a way for black people to try to assimilate easier, or as a way to, in hopes, get access to more wealth and resources. So this is something that black people, black women in particular, definitely do. So I find it interesting that she is calling white women out for doing something that we are largely guilty for as a collective. Let's continue.
Let me say that again. A lot of y'all just want mixed babies because y'all think that mixed babies are so cute.
Again, black woman. This is exactly what I'm trying to think of a white woman that I know off the top of my head who said that she wanted mixed babies. I'm sure they exist. I can't think of one, but I can assure you a black woman who practiced colorism and talked about good hair, good eyes.
Now let's get deep with it though, because here's what's funny. A lot of white women can't stand not only black people, but they really can't stand black women. Why? Because we have features that they don't. So y'all hate us for that, but then you want to go and have black babies so that you can produce something that has our features.
Again, I would be more inclined to believe this if black women were not always wearing the hair of white women on their head, or Indian women or Brazilian women. I think I'd be a lot more inclined to really believe that these white women are really envious of black women if black women were not consistently trying to change their hair. And I think that's where it's like it's really kind of hard to point a finger when you're guilty of doing the things that you claim the other women are doing. And this is, no disrespect for her, but like, she literally has a weave on. Her hair is looking like Becky. And so that's why I'm like, a white woman is going to look at that probably and just roll her eyes and be like, so you're judging me for getting Botox while you have a weave? You can't even wear your own hair? And now this gets into a conversation of, okay, is this really a racial thing, or is this just more about beauty trends? Because, okay, you can say that white women are trying to get Botox and BBLs. Okay, granted, fine. Let's just assume that's true. But black women are also getting weaves, and they're contouring their nose and getting nose jobs and different things to try to make them a little bit more angular. Black women are also doing things. So is that really an issue of, they want to look more black? Or is it just an issue of women just trying to fall into trends? Right? So that, I don't know, that's where it could get really, really confusing, but let's continue.
And I have personally experienced this more so as a child, and I'm gonna make another video talking about that, because I got a lot to say about the ways in which white women hate black women but then be the first ones to run to the doctor for lip injections and ass injections and all this other shit to
Just like black women be the first ones to go get weaves and buy 100% virgin Brazilian weaves and Indian weaves and dye their hair blonde and get, like I said, nose jobs or do contouring and different things to make their features look more angular, smaller. So this is again where it can really become tit for tat. Skin bleaching anyone? Just
look
continue.
like us. But anyways, I see a whole lot of white women on here that are literally becoming rich and monetizing their black children. I know y'all seen it. All these.
It's so funny to me. She says white women getting rich off of their black children. It's so funny to me how blackness changes based upon what's convenient. Because a lot of women who are here talking about colorism will not want to claim a mixed woman as black. They're going to want to claim that mixed woman as a preference. Or they're going to say she ain't black, she's biracial. So in a certain context, mixed women aren't black. But when it comes to a white woman and her kids, oh, she has black kids.
Women posting pictures of their mixed babies, literally monetizing their black babies. I'm gonna need y'all to get in the comments. Another thing I know that black or white women and white men do is they know that they racist ass daddy and mama would be just irate if they ever brought home a black person, and so they do it to get back at their parents or their racist family. So we have women that want to get back at their parents. They want mixed babies. Or we've got the ones we all know that go after athletes, like the woman my dad is married to.
Oh, I didn't get this far in the video. She said like the woman my dad is into. So there's a little saltiness there. But she's saying that does happen. There are those cases where there's some women who want mixed babies. I'm sure that happens. There are women out there who want to get back at their parents. I'm sure that happens. What I would argue though was that is clearly not that's not a big trend from my understanding. And if it is, it's not happening as much as it is in the black community. We know black women largely practice colorism, which is why I think one of the reasons it's not, how do I put it? Which is why they're so sensitive to it, because they practice it, because it's something that they really do and something that they really feel. And we have evidence behind this. I just showed this to y'all earlier in the live, where it's when we get offline and we get off of this whole black power, I'm pro black queen, whatever. If we get off the internet and all the facade that people put on, when we look at what they're doing behind closed doors and their preferences, it is all races of women, including black women, who primarily have a preference first to white men and then secondarily to their men. And again, it really, some of the theories behind it, but one of the major theory is that it's just because of what they perceive to be better social standing and having basically more money. So I don't think it's necessarily because these women love whiteness per se, as much as it is that they see whiteness as more associated with wealth, social status, and just an overall a better life. But this is all racist, including black women. So what she's saying about them wanting the mixed babies and light-skinned babies, this is something that black women have done and are doing, and this has been documented. I shared excerpts from a book. I think I did this in my video I posted yesterday, of different black women literally talking about grandmothers who told them, marry a blonde dude, make sure you marry a white guy because you're too black and we want to make sure that we better the race. Y'all remember Matthew Knowles when he said his mama told him to marry a white girl or marry somebody light-skinned because he was too dark? We all know examples of this. And like I said, this is not just in the Caribbean, Africa. This is out here in the States. So black women, again, have I'm not saying all, right? But a tenet, a component in our culture is that there are those among us who do facilitate colorism, specifically because we want to assimilate, and we think in assimilating, we believe that our offspring or our families will eventually have a better, easier life. And so we look to try to marry white, look to try to marry light. We look to try to create lighter skinned babies. We're happy that we have babies that have green eyes, right? Or that have lighter skin, or that have the light. Like, we're happy with that. We celebrate that. I even mentioned Keke Palmer. I said, y'all notice how Keke Palmer Everybody's over here being big mad about her, I think now ex-boyfriend, saying something about her outfit. But nobody will ever look at Keke Palmer and call her a colorist, although she dated a white dude and then created a baby with a light-skinned, ethnically ambiguous black guy. And look, I'm not mad at it. I don't have a problem with somebody having a preference. But what I'm saying is that had I been a black man, have a black man date a white woman and then go create a baby with an ethnically ambiguous preference and see if he wouldn't be canceled and called all kinds of colorists. Chris Brown still, years later, he didn't have dark-skinned women in his videos. He didn't done stuff with Kelly Rowland, Ciara, and he still can't get past the colorist claims. Still, with all the different women he's had in the music video, he still can't get past it. They're still canceling him years later. So what I'm saying is that this stuff isn't consistent. And I think there's definitely a big willingness to want to point this out to other people. But one of the reasons these colorist claims are not taken seriously, I think from black men, from other races of women in general, is because there's unwillingness to really sit with how we ourselves practice it. And we do it a lot.
Go after rich athletes when we know damn well you wouldn't be giving this man the time of day if his bank account didn't look like that.
She said, we already know you wouldn't be giving him the time of day if his bank account didn't look like that. She's not lying. But you mean to tell me black women about to sit up here and give it to the dude a time of day if they ain't got no money? Please tell me a race of women who are knocking down the door to try to date broke men. Please name a race or group of women out there that exist that are going out of their way to specifically date and marry broke men. Can y'all tell me in the comment section, do they exist? Can y'all tell me in the comment section, do y'all know a group of women who are knocking down the door to date broke men? She over here saying, oh, you white women, y'all going for the black men just because they got money. Well, black women do that too. Black women are doing the exact same thing. Women out there are doing the exact same thing. They are practicing. They are proud capitalists, proud of it, proud hypergamist, proud classist. They all do it. So what I'm saying is, while I can't necessarily say that the points that she's raising are wrong, yes, there are definitely instances of white women who want to have mixed babies and white women who are just trying to get back at their parents. All of that exists. What I'm saying is that everything she just said can apply to black women and arguably more so. Talking about how white women envy black women looks because they get Botox and BBLs, while black women also get BBLs, and also they get weaves, and also they get nose jobs, and also they do contouring and skin bleaching to try to look whiter. So all women do it. Talking about, oh, how white women go after the athletes, go after the successful black men for their money. And I'm like, black women don't? There aren't hypergamy experts out there. Black women aren't expanding their options to the six figure men. What? All women are doing this. This is my point. So this is why I think some of these complaints, while they may seem valid and they have an element of truth to them, what I'm saying is that I think black women, when we are found to be hypocrites and when we ourselves are inconsistent in these areas, nobody listens to us. You're a black woman going online, surprised that white men are racist to you. Like, nobody's taking anything you say seriously at that point. If you really went online and are just like, breaking news, white guys can be racist. If this is the revelation you have to share with the world, then there's going to be a large portion of the population that is not listening to you. Because I'm like, if you're just now coming to this revelation, I'm over there. Let's continue. Okay.
So get in the comments, because I want to know. Make it make sense, because y'all not safe at all. And Lord, if I hear one more story about a white woman who has called her mixed children the N-word, that right there is a damn shame.
You know what? Here's where, first of all, I don't disagree. I don't think you should be calling your children the N-word. The problem is, black women do it too. And I know we want to say, well, it means something different when it's of your own race. And I get it, right? There's historical context to that. But black women do call their kids N-words, and much worse. Barely saying their ABCs, getting cussed at, getting called all kinds of names, getting disrespected from their elders. And then they get used to that disrespect. And so now they don't know how to respond to they only know how to respond if you yell at them, if you treat them rude. That's sad. But what I'm saying is, again, I'm not making excuses for nobody who's going to call their kids the N-word. I think that's completely and totally unacceptable, especially if you were of another race and you're you have a mixed kid, because you should be sensitive to their experience. With that said, however, like I said, Black women do it too, and unfortunately, we are not known to be the most kind and generous to our children. And this is where I say these kinds of conversations, while there are good points, nobody really takes us seriously when they clearly look at us and see that in the very areas we're complaining about and we're trying to point the finger at, we're doing the same things, if not worse. And that's what I really got out of these videos. This is no shade to her. I think she definitely started some conversations, which is why I wanted to bring this up. But it raises some good points. How do we today in 2023, with it, which all has happened even in the last couple of years, how are there still so many Black women who are hella brand new about what happens when they date out? Like, super surprised about the fact that racism still exists. But you're supposedly a Black woman or Black women, just as a collective, are supposedly so woke and leading the community and have made all these changes and progress for the community. But y'all act so surprised and so confused when a dude treats you racist. What is going on? Why is there this disconnect? Right? And then secondly, I know there's this beef between Black women and white women. Black women saying these white women, they take our men. They want to be like us. They want to steal our beauty. They disrespect us, whatever. And I'm like, look, there's definitely some truth to that. But unfortunately, we don't really have legs to stand on when we are doing the exact same things we are accusing these white women of. And unfortunately, that's what I think has happened and is happening.